Anyway, so I'm your Connecticut co-coordinator, Tom Phillips, along with Kimberly. We are the co-coordinators, and this is the Connecticut General Assembly meeting, and today is March 25th, 2026, and so welcome. Would anyone like to begin our meeting by giving us a simple prayer of some kind?
I will.
Okay, Kim.
Okay. Father God, Yahweh, Creator Most High, we ask you for discernment, patience, and love for everyone that we know and that we don't know. Help us to attract the good people who know something's wrong and are interested in helping us create a better government for our people, by and for the people. And let us be patient and steadfast as we move. And thank you for this time together. And so it is.
Thank you, Kim. And so I'll give our little meeting preface. Welcome to the Connecticut General Assembly meeting. We are standing on our land and soil jurisdiction nation called Connecticut. We are here to restore our birthright government, a Republican form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A government whose primary duty is protecting your individual, unalienable rights, freedoms, and property. You and I are stepping forward to voluntarily serve our fellow Connecticuters in pursuit of this ongoing challenge. We are assembled here to focus our time and effort by studying, sharing, organizing this organic body into a coherent working group of committees, affirming for the greater good of all the people of Connecticut's 8 counties. Thank you for stepping forward as a volunteer, reclaimer, and restorer. Now we'll move on to the Bivens decision. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the first time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency, public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for a second time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the third time? So hearing no response, anyone who is here in false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territorial United States or municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here, must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave the premises. If they subsequently show up as federal witnesses, they are discredited for failure to disclose. So that concludes our business decision. And now it's time for our county roll call. And so as I call out your county, please respond with I. Fairfield County.
Aye. Aye.
Litchfield County.
Aye.
Hartford County. Hearing none. Middlesex County.
Here.
New London County. Hearing none. New Haven County. Here. Holland County. Hearing none. Windham County. Also hearing none. And that concludes our county roll call. And now we'll move on to committee reports, and that will be followed by news, announcements, old business, new business, as anyone sees they'd like to bring up. Excuse me. So we do have Linda here. Linda, can you give us a brief synopsis of any activity in the Treasury Department committee? Excuse me.
There's been no activity actually since our last meeting. I'm currently in the car, but you know I'm okay to speak and stuff. I'm just gonna mute when I'm not, in case there's any background noise of the car. I'm on my way home.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that report.
If you want like what we still have in the account, when I get home, I could look that up in the book if you want.
Right. If anyone would like to have that, they'd simply can request. Otherwise, we'll bring it up in the next meeting.
Okay.
There really hasn't been any big changes, so I don't.
There hasn't been anything. So.
Right. I don't think we need to worry about that particularly. But if someone has concerns, you can certainly bring it up.
Sure.
And then we'll turn to Kimberly and the recording secretaries. Any news to report from your end?
No, not anything really going on over here in the recording secretary desk, except for Linda's little, she brought something to my attention that I missed on some paperwork, so we corrected that. No big deal. I do have one new, the mother of another new ASN has sent me her paperwork, so, it's just kind of going along.
Right. I recently had contact from a Massachusetts who's living in Connecticut now.
Oh, yes, I did get that. You copied me on that, yes.
Right.
I haven't
so
heard from him directly, so I'm sure he will reach out.
Right. So I'm sure, at least it's nice to have another one in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so from my perspective, running the Jural Assembly, really no big change. We've just been plugging away with education, and we probably will now scale that back. Instead of running 2 Jural Assembly meetings in the month, we'll have one of those will be outreach and education. Seems like that would be a good shift for the focus to grow the assembly, and certainly we could have a little bit of a forum on that. Does everyone agree with that idea, or they prefer to see 2 Jural Assembly meetings happening per month, or they think we should shift our focus more toward outreach and education? Does anyone have any thoughts they'd like to put forward?
May I?
Please.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that. I think since we're not really able to do a whole lot in the Jural because we don't have enough people, I think we should move into working on outreach and brainstorming and doing, start to get out there and do some things. And then maybe we could just continue the Jural Assembly with education. Not sure if we could role play if we'd have to each take like multiple positions. It might be kind of not really fruitful if we do that. But anyway, I think outreach is where we need to be focused right now. So,
anyone else like to chime in?
Sure, may I?
Please.
Yeah, I agree, outreach and definitely education, and it'd be great if I had if I had a meeting to send new people to. Perhaps they would get more involved, for the education. So I've been sending them to the open forum calls so that if they have questions, they can get there. And I think if we do, I've got to try and get to the meetings to help with this. But I think that I know that when I was coming in and I didn't know what I was doing or where to look for things, it really helped when Isabel would share the screen and take you to the website and kind of show you where to click and what to do and how to find things. That really helped me a lot. I think really people are so stuck that might help, just to generally show them where to find things. So I could help with that. My question going forward on that is there any action needed to post it somewhere? Like, do we need to change wording on the calendar or, to change the wording on the specific date, the meeting type? Can I help in that in any way?
Well, we can check with Anita, but I think that it's Eleanor who would do that for us.
Yeah,
still.
It's Eleanor. Eleanor, yes. Okay, I could send her an email. Just you have to make clear tonight, I guess, with each other which one you wanted to change. The first Jural meeting, change it to outreach/education, or the second one?
Well, it doesn't really matter particularly to me, and I'd be perfectly happy if one was outreach and one was education. And no Jural Assembly meeting at all. But please, more people can chime in. We haven't heard from Eric or Eugene or Gary what they think. Or Rebecca, too. Sorry, for Rebecca, I forgot about you.
May I?
Please.
I don't really, my input at this point is kind of moot. I haven't been back in Connecticut for a year and a day, but I kind of agree with what Kimberly said. Streamlining things in a way where people have an opportunity to have a learning, just an opportunity to learn, just to gain some confidence in what we're looking at. If there's nothing major going on, if you do have jurors that are kind of in the wings that are willing to deal with the situation as it arises, that's at least a start. But showing up on a meeting on a regular basis, whether it's a Jural Assembly meeting or a General Assembly meeting or some kind of business meeting, and not experiencing any real forward progress in the middle of the storm that's going on right now with all this stuff out in the world, it kind of makes you recoil from it. So rather than burden people with dates and times they need to show up for, just know, if we set up something very basic for them to show up to, just to have a pulse, just to do a pulse check. It doesn't need to be an hour long. It doesn't need to be anything major. That's my opinion. Thank you. I yield.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Eugene or Rebecca or Eric, any opinions about this? Oh, I see Kim. Please go ahead, Eugene.
I think Gary is right. It should be more flexible. It shouldn't be like this or that. It could be big mixture, you know. It depends how many people will attend it. So if someone has issue, we can help, you know. It's all kind of questions. But the problem is not so many new people attending. It's amazing. So they don't have any questions. This means they don't learn anything, because you don't have any questions when you don't learn anything new. That's a problem. That's how I feel it.
Eric says in the chat that he's in a budget meeting, so that just leaves Rebecca if she'd like to say something. Rebecca, would you like to chime in?
Well, taking it from my own experience, yeah, I think it's not enough to just say, here's the websites, go look at them. It's too daunting, and people don't know where to start. So making it simple, and if it was in person, then they could connect a face to a name, that kind of thing. Yeah, make it simple. You know, start small steps consistently, I think, is a good motto.
Good plan. So one bit of encouraging news is that I have now an official retirement date of May 29th and plan to do more outreach and education. Of course, I got lots of other stuff to do. Not like I don't have anything to do. But anyway, I'd like everyone to think about where they would like to maybe do a little event if they have some people in their neighborhood or friends or anyone that they would like, you know, maybe a local library or a coffee shop or something like that. I'd be willing to travel and do a presentation, answer questions, I think. So keep that on your radar screen.
As
Please.
far as the location goes, you know, we did meet at the restaurant, the Stonebridge restaurant, and I don't know how many people know, but the second meeting at Stonebridge, there was a mix-up. They told me that the room was reserved for us, and it was already paid for, and they forgot, I guess. But then they changed their policy, and they didn't want to. They wanted to charge like a couple $100 to reserve that same room for. They wanted better paying events in there. So that room's not even available for us anymore because they want to charge too much money. So somebody also is suggesting now there's another restaurant called Citrus. I haven't looked into it, but that is in Milford, I guess, Citrus. But I was thinking that maybe we meet more centrally located, maybe just a diner somewhere with a diner with a nice back room. But I just don't know what's available out of Fairfield County. I just, I'm kind of waiting for somebody to offer up the names of some diners that might work. But I would be open to everybody else's input here. Like, what do they want to go to Milford? Do they prefer a centrally located diner? And if they want a diner, which one?
Right. So Kim's had her hand up for a while. Sorry, Kim.
Oh, that's okay. I actually forgot what one thing I wanted to say, just when Gary was speaking, I forgot what else I wanted to say, but I just wanted to say, Gary, excuse me, just because you haven't been back for a year and a day does not mean you cannot participate. It only means that you cannot vote on something like an election or I guess a law that we would pass. But you are more than welcome to participate, my friend. I yield. And your
Gary was
opinion
telling us.
does matter.
Yeah, it does matter tremendously to us. Yeah. Well, Gary was explaining how he's taking the time now to regroup and settle things down a little bit because he's spent the last couple of years kind of traveling around the country and maybe just needs time to sit and meditate for a little bit. Is that accurate, Gary?
Mm-hmm.
I thank you, Kimberly, for that, and Tom. Yes, to a degree, yes. I've had a wonderful opportunity to have direct and personal relations with people and stress test character and all that kind of stuff. One thing I have done is a lot of writing. I've done a lot of writing. I've had to kind of shed some stuff. And it's one of the things I've learned in the last several years is that there's a lot of stuff that we just don't need anymore. And it really serves it to just get in the way of things. There are very few things that we all have to kind of agree on. But beyond that, when you get down to basics, it really is pretty simple. Yes, it's challenging to learn all this stuff, but the only thing I would suggest to people now would be to, if you're in the dark about something, Anna's articles are there. She has an interesting writing style, so you kind of have to warm up to that because it's what we got. It's the best data set we have. It's what we have to work with. So I try and lean into the inflections and the intonations in the data, and I study based on the actual words. If I want to learn about court, I want to learn about IRS, if I want to learn about Fed, all these different things, municipal versus territorial, I will do a keyword search. I will read every article that comes up, and it keeps me busy, it keeps me occupied, and it clears the air in my head. Because if I got question marks in my head, it just keeps me spinning in circles. So I end up glazing over at meetings, or I end up glazing over in the news because I don't understand the nature of what it is they're saying to not say. You know what I mean? It's like you have to kind of be able to read through their scripted language. But I appreciate the clarification, Kimberly. I am aware of that, and that was kind of a group decision for whether they're going to change the dates on the thing. So I don't. But yeah, I certainly don't want to hold any positions. But I did reach out and request the meeting date so that I could at least be present for it, because it does help. I know it helps you guys. It helps me. I like seeing progress. I like seeing presence. I don't even care if we progress. I just want to see presence. That's the most important part, because it's supposed to be family and community. Because if we don't have that, what we're left with is what the de facto does to us and gives to us. And they're spending a lot of time, money, and energy trying to just glaze over all of it. So if we stay present, we're good. I yield.
Thank you, Gary, for the clarification. So let's see, we've done our committee reports, and the only other big thing that I was hoping to cover tonight is related to Global Family Group, and presumably everyone got the email from Global Family Group making the announcement. Did anyone not get that? Who's here?
I didn't get it in my personal email, which was weird, but I did see it on our connection email with the assembly.
I didn't
And there's
get it
also
either.
did not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the. Please go ahead, Eugene.
Today's meeting wasn't on schedule actually because I checked my email, but I checked the calendar. Event there was not today event. I don't know why. That's why probably not so many people here.
Oh, you mean I have the wrong day?
Yeah. I think it's a
Operator error. Sorry about that.
But definitely not on 25th.
Really?
Let me look.
saw it on the calendar. That's why I wouldn't have never known to dial in.
You saw it?
Yeah. Yeah, or I wouldn't have known because I was in Florida for a couple of weeks. I came back and I, opened up the calendar and made
Let
sure
me
I
check.
knew what
Maybe-
we had.
Maybe
Make
I'm
sure
mistaken.
you were clicked on March. I don't know.
It says March.
Yeah, it says the 25th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm mistaken, yeah.
Yeah, no biggie.
25th, right. I think it is.
It was also on
must
the
be
floor.
in other months or so. I'm sorry.
No.
On the newsletter as well. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Anyway, glad to know I didn't screw that up. Anyway, so on to the banking thing. So I listened to the recording of Anna's and tried to take notes. And then I had a lengthy conversation last night with Eleanor, who, as most of you may know, and she clarified it for me last night, she's one of the core people on the Global Family Group, one of the core volunteers. And although she's kind of stepped back from her role a little bit in that, at one point she was working 18-hour days with Hunter, getting things organized and getting things rolling. And so I'll try and recount most of that for you now. And please feel free to interrupt and ask questions as we go along here. So basically what Anna was saying is the Global Family Group vendor portal is now open. And then she quoted that there were 30,000 vendors. Eleanor clarified that there's 3,000 vendors in the system, but not all of those 3,000 have set up their window, I guess you'd call it, or their posting within Global Family. And because Eleanor is one of the vendors, she has a vendor account, we were able to explore her vendor account and see what it would look like to try and purchase something from her. And it's still pretty much outside. In other words, not everyone has the QR codes needed to do the transaction. Anyway, I'll continue on with what Anna said and try and cover it all. Anyway, what Anna was saying is that it's been an enormous task. Hunter's been working on this. Has been working on this since 2005, and as they started out, they were originally just going to be a international trade bank dealing with just other banks, and then they realized that they were going to have to create personal accounts for people. That changed their mission considerably. And then they realized that they were going to have to also be the prepaid credit outlet to return 8 billion people on the planet to their safety. And they've done this all with volunteers. no one's paid, and no commercial budget to do advertising and to have, fancy, call centers and all this other kind of stuff. So she's mainly asking us to have patience and realize it's going to take time, and that there's going to be, unforeseen problems and things that need to be corrected and troubleshooted. But they're often running, and she was recounting how there are even some people who have taken this and have begun to purchase new cars or do real estate transactions. And when I mentioned that portion to Elle, she said she hadn't heard about that and was going to follow up and find out more about that. And that the other big piece of news that Anna was talking about is that the Treasury has declared the U.S. bankrupt. Anna was describing that they have 6.6 trillion in assets and 47.88 trillion in liabilities. In other words, a huge unfunded debt of $41 trillion. But not to worry about that, because that's them, not us. And that only corporations can go bankrupt. Sovereigns cannot. And that's because corporations are actually owned by a sovereign interest of some kind. What else here? As of sorry, go ahead, please.
Which U.S. corporation is it she's talking about this time?
She's talking about the United States Treasury.
Right, but is it the Capital USA or the I don't know what.
Well, I believe it's U.S. Treasury. I believe.
Okay, thank you.
And okay, I don't have complete confirmation on that, but that's my understanding.
Okay.
And then she was also mentioning that as of July 2023, all banks sent out notices declaring that all accounts are now FedNow accounts. And in this superfine print that they have usurped ownership of every single bank account in the country. And an interesting tidbit from Eleanor was that Key Bank here in Connecticut is one bank that has not agreed to do any FedNow accounts. And so you might want to consider if Key Bank might be appropriate for you. Anyway.
Which one?
Key Bank. That's K-E-Y, Key Bank. Oh, Gary has his hand up. Did you want to interject something, Gary?
Yes, thank you, Tom. So I bank with Wells Fargo, and I had read that article a while back. So I've gotten in the habit of taking my disability dividend out fairly quickly once it goes in. But the first go around, I took my cash out at the teller, and I went and I asked for a bank manager, and I engaged in a series of questions about the FedNow stuff to see whether or not the bank manager was aware of those things. She seemed quite nervous at my line of questioning, But I made it very clear that it's not something I was willing to participate in or tolerate. I said, this is the only money I have. It's not income. It's my disability dividend, and I will not continue to bank here if that's in question. And so she was very uncomfortable in her chair. I don't know whether they're informing the bank managers or not, but I'm glad to hear about the key bank stuff. I'm going to have to look into that because I'm very interested in shifting my direct deposit somewhere else. As far as the rest of the stuff is concerned, like I'm very glad that I've kept up on the articles because I have seen all of their games they're playing out in the world, and it really helps to have the background with the information we're being given from Anna and the Federation to really be able to translate what they're doing out there. Just one more thing. I was paying attention to this stuff before I got involved with the assemblies. I also paid attention to the whole Q operation. I've been paying attention to a lot of the stuff that the MAGA base has been saying. So you're hearing a number of stories playing out. And so when you have that filter, you really get confirmation in Anna's article. That's why I stress paying attention and staying up to date on the articles, because oftentimes she'll call something before it comes out, and then they'll do something. So the whole paper silver debacle that just went through, to know that the Fed was bankrupted in 2009, and that the business name transferred to J.P. Morgan and Jamie Dimon at Chase, and how they're playing both ends against the middle, and the middle is us. So I'm not sure what U.S. Treasury is being referenced here, but as far as I'm concerned, any treasury that goes bankrupt is for shady business practice. It's because they're supposed to be the holding house for our assets. That's all their job is. It's not rocket science. So they've been working hand in hand with the now Fed / J.P. Morgan and Chase to do this end run around their responsibilities to liquidate the municipal in its entirety, and liquidate those assets and return those assets. In the circles I travel in, I make it a point to mention that their job is to bankrupt the municipal in its entirety, liquidate and actually collapse those three trusts. The Sestui KV Trust and the Foreign Situs Trust and even the intestate American Infant Decedent Estate, and return it to the holder, which is the naked owner, the individual American. So I've been dropping those bombs wherever I go, and it does what it does. It plants a seed, if nothing else. So that's how I've been keeping myself busy. I yield.
Thank you. Please.
I would advise you, each one of you, go to your bank, ask the banking card, ask to update your signature. They're going to say, "Oh, we'll update it in a software." I said, "No, just print the card, and I'll do wet signature. Just request wet signature. They cannot deny you. In that case, and then you put the right signature by semicolon, your first and last, and then copyright, and then make a picture and request a copy of that. And of course, without prejudice. That's the way it should be done. I will always do that." They rejected it. They said, "No, we don't do that." No, I said, "No, I'll do that. Please do that." And then they go in and print it. They'll print the page with all your accounts, because it's very logical. They said, "Okay, you get update every month or every 6 months, 3 months in email. It says the software has been updated, your banking software." And I said, "I didn't get the full disclosure. Can you do that?" They said, "Oh yeah, you can go and read." I said, "No, just print the card. I'm going to update my signature. It's your right. Do it."
And so what protection do you think that offers, Eugene?
Well, I mean, what does it mean without prejudice? That means you didn't get the full disclosure. You can always object it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put a signature, you give a consent. By the way, someone told me that the signature, it's not actually signature, it's an autograph, because sig means against nature, so that's against nature. So you signing this as a fiction. This is not your real autograph. So autograph AU is the gold. So you're the owner. So the most important thing is your signature. I mean your autograph.
Right.
So the signature. This is from C jurisdiction. Is a creature. That's all.
Gary, you wanted to chime in?
I believe it also makes it a non-negotiable autograph. They can't copy it and attach it to something else, as if you're just an authorized representative. Especially if you have a FedNow account, they're presuming, without full disclosure, that the Fed is now the owner of those deposits, and the bank is some kind of middleman position, and you're just parking your stuff there, giving them the benefit of making money with your deposits. So it's kind of a non-participation wink and a nod, but what Eugene said is absolutely correct. Putting your buy and your autograph and at least your copyright symbol written out, touching the last letter of your last name, because that's, if there's enough room on the signature card, because they make those things smaller and smaller and smaller, so you don't have a lot of room for anything, but without prejudice is definitely a smart thing to do as well. I yield.
One more thing. There is 4 corner rules. Okay, everything in a square, it's not readable. It's in another document. When you put your signature right above that square, it should be above. Okay, you can go over that square, because whenever it's in square, it's unreadable for them.
Sorry, you have to make sure that it's not contained within a square, correct?
There's a lot of tricks. You just have to learn. But this is true.
Right, so you make sure that when you do your autograph that it's not fully contained within a square, that it crosses outside of the square. Is that what you're saying, Eugene?
Hello?
Yeah, just trying to confirm what you were saying. So when you do your autograph, you make sure it's not fully contained within a box. Make sure it steps outside of the box. Is that correct? I guess I'm not coming through. Can anyone hear me?
I hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Did we lose
Not
Eugene,
sure
maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, all great advice. Continue. Oh, yeah, he lost his signal.
Mm.
So then Anna also touched on the mochi and said that some are actually getting paid through the mochis. Not a lot, but some are actually getting their payments. And she didn't elaborate a lot on that. And so then I don't really have a whole lot. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, please.
It's very strange. I've been disconnected.
Yes, we.
Yeah.
You know what? This software is not reliable. Actually, I checked this software and I checked. There's a lot of what is called it? A lot of connected to this software. I mean, I would prefer if we can get another one.
Right. You don't like You don't like free conference call, is what you're saying. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Right. Well, we'll definitely have to look into it. Maybe Anita has some good ideas. See what we can do.
By the way, if you're aware that the last week, what's happened to Thursday, if you're aware of that, right?
Oh, you're talking about the hacking of the countrywide coordinator call?
Right.
Right.
So all this software has a backdoor. All these softwares has a backdoor.
Right.
So no matter you're doing business decisions, but still everything recorded.
So just for clarity, it was not last Thursday. It was the previous Thursday.
Right.
It was the countrywide coordinator call on Zoom that Michelle Ford hosts that was hacked. And since then, I believe she's asked people who are the coordinators to get on a list, and she sends out a password to try and asked us not to share that password. Because after all, I mean, unless you really have questions, you can watch the replay easy enough. They're pretty quick up there. You know, you don't really need to be on the meeting unless you actually have questions that you want to have answered. Anyway, so that kind of caused a disruption there. Anna was in the middle of talking, and the thing blew up. It's pretty. So anyway, to finish up on this global family group subject, the last thing that Anna was talking about is, and the context may have escaped me here, but she was talking about the divine trust and how we are tenants of the earth, caretakers, in a similar situation to owner, trustee, and beneficiary. And then I had that lengthy conversation with Eleanor, and I'll just go over that a little bit. But one of the things they had done in the coordinator call on Sunday was a member on Florida had reported how he and another member had transferred an AFD. He transferred it to her, and she received it, and then she transferred it back to him. And I was able to do the same thing with with Eleanor, and that's confirmation that that it's actually pretty easy and pretty quick and pretty straightforward to transfer AFDs. But where it gets a little bit more complicated is in trying to transact with a vendor. And according to Eleanor, it's still through the online system, but I certainly encourage people to go in there and see if you can find a vendor and, bring it up to the point where you can close the transaction if you wanted to, but just to make sure that you understand how it works and how straightforward it is. And then the last thing that I should mention, or the last thing that comes to mind right now, is that when I go into my GFG account, let's see, it's under, I believe it's under, it's under the profile. Exactly how I'm going to state this, but there literally was an option that I'm supposed to have operable that's not operating for me. And so Eleanor was taking notes of that and was going to report it back to the IT guy who's in charge of making all this stuff happen. And so that would be the other thing I would encourage people, if you find something that's not working or you think should be functioning but isn't functioning right, that you try and document it maybe with screenshots or however you think you can, and email it to Eleanor so she can push it up the food chain, and we can, help work out the kinks. I see, Rebecca, you have your hand up?
Yeah, but so did Gary. Do you have a question, Gary?
You can go ahead. I just opened my account to take a look at what Tom was just talking about. I can wait. I have a couple of questions, but I can wait. I'll put my hand down. I yield.
Okay, yeah, I had 2 questions about the accounts. And I don't know if you can answer these, but so the way it stands now, we have the vendor card, the prosperity cards, right?
Have you gone on your account and you've seen it?
I don't remember what I saw now. But, okay, so this is my question. The way it stands now, and I suppose in the future, is that these dollars can only be spent in that system with a participating vendor. Is that right? So we just need more vendors to sign up.
Well, that's the current level of transaction right now. But the rest is supposed to open up. One of the things that Anna has said in the past, I don't remember if she mentioned it on Monday night, is that there are 350 million people who have access to the Global Financial Group accounts. And Eleanor's comment on that was that she was aware of a very large social network which was plugged in. Now, it doesn't mean that all those people have accounts, but that the avenue is open for them to go in and open accounts.
Okay.
But the part that I was missing, and you should probably try and check, is you should be seeing in your basic menu as you scroll down a prosperity section, and that's what I'm missing. I don't have that.
Oh. Okay. I'll have to take another look. If you don't have it, I probably don't have it either. But
well, are you talking when you just open up your account, when you log on, right?
Log on, you're looking at the basic menu, You've got all those menus on your left-hand side. It starts at the top with, I believe, it's accounts, and then it's messages, and then transfer between accounts. And I think it's in the transfer between accounts, transfer to other users, that you're supposed to have that prosperity link in there. That's what I recall Eleanor saying. And then there's news, and then there's statements. You can pull up statements, and then there's your profile, and at the very bottom is log out. Anyway, I encourage everyone to go in and try and get familiar and look at it. And then the only other thing that I want to mention is this is brought up, and I'll get to you, Gary. I'm sorry.
Wait, I have another question when you're
done.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll just mention it quickly, is that the gentleman on Florida was saying that in the coordinator call on Sunday that they noticed that in some cases people's documents were somehow disappearing, and he was encouraging everyone to go in and just make sure that all the documents you uploaded are still present, because it's part of the language of Global Family that your account cannot be active if you don't have those documents in there. So if you see something missing, re-upload it.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
so
Rebecca, so yeah, please go ahead.
My other question is, and maybe you can't answer this either, is like if a brand new ASN was to create a GFB account, would their balance would they start at zero, or would it be, brought up to speed with the rest of us?
Well, I presume that they're doing these distributions, and so those who have been in the pipeline longer would have more distributions.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the end goal.
Right.
The end goal is for everyone to be even. So I don't know how they're going to even it out and when. And of course, the most important tool for us is the prosperity card, because this pays down the national debt. It erases the Federal Reserve notes as we do it. And so this becomes the thing that actually heals the wounds in a significant way.
And that's the thing that you say is missing when you go to that.
Eleanor was surprised. She thought I was going to be able to see the prosperity card.
I'm going to go look right now.
Does that answer your questions, Rebecca?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Gary, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I have mine open, and in descending order, it starts with accounts, goes to messages, transfers, news, reports, the prosperity tool, the profile, and then the logout button. So you've got 8 slots. I do have the prosperity tool selection out, and if you click on it, it's got 2 links. One's for create global InstaPay link and a list of global InstaPay links.
Yeah, I have that too.
Okay, so if you watched, I don't know if you received the email from Global, there's a video tutorial and a downloadable PDF that goes through the same steps that the video tutorial goes through. In the video tutorial, it actually shows the prepaid credit card in that window when you open up the Prosperity tool. So it looks like they're advancing the software, they just haven't loaded that part of it. But as far as transfer between users is concerned, that is active if you have the prosperity tool in your if you have that toolbox in your account once you open up your account, like once you log into your account. The email also said to make sure that you check and make sure things are updated. So if you had uploaded documents that hadn't been approved yet or made clear, so I'll open up profile and go to documents, and so you'll see description on the right hand side. You'll see description, date uploaded, expiration date, and those are usually blank, file size, and then the status, whether it's accepted or pending. Just make sure that you have everything uploaded. But in the description, the first column next to the actual document title, it shows whether or not a certain document or upload is Global Family Group optional or required. Just make sure that anything that's required, you've actually uploaded it and it's been accepted. If not, you should probably reach out to a global rep or send them an email in messages, just to make sure. And that was part of the reason why they sent that notification out in those 2 emails. But it looked as though they were advancing the software because they had that prepaid credit card in that window in the prosperity tools section. But when you go to create a transfer between users, it looks pretty simple. You can leave a description. There's a box right underneath your account number. You can put a basic description. You can put an amount just below that. You can mark it without an amount. But the only thing you really need to transfer between users, when you go to transfers, you can transfer to other user. or if you have a separate account, if you set up a separate account in there, you can transfer from your own account to another account. But the only thing you'll really need is the account number and the email of the other user, and obviously the amount, the transfer details. So in credit to account and in transfers to another person, you'll fill out the credit to account and then the transfer details, and you can add a description. And then you click the continue button, and it will advance you to the next window, and then you can proceed from there.
Is this from the Prosperity Tool link?
That was in that one right. The last thing I was talking about was in transfers. So if you're in transfers, you can transfer between accounts.
Or transfer to other users. I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can debit from account, you can credit to account, and there's a spot for transfer details, and you can make notations. But in the Prosperity Tools, that's the Global InstaPay is that's going to be the credit stuff. Because when you advance through this, I believe if you follow this through, you fill out the information, then you click Create, it'll give you a QR link that you can then use with your phone.
And the top one, you mean the Create Global InstaPay link, that one?
Create Global InstaPay link, correct.
Yeah, I clicked on that, and it just shows my account number, and I guess it's mine under account number.
Right, so you've got your account number up top, and then below that there's description.
Yeah.
Click about 1.5 inches to the right of that, depending on your monitor size, a box opens up. So you can write in a descriptor for that. Vet bill, whatever. That's your memo section, like you would see on your check.
Like your check, okay. And then the amount.
And the amount. Make sure you click far enough to the right. You're basically directly below your account number, because the box isn't right next to the word. And so you type in your amount. I'm not sure there's a need for any kind of dollar sign, because it's not a dollar with a single line going through that, because that's not money. But you just type in the amount. If there's a fraction for the amount, just type it in, because it'll do the creation. And on the receiving end of it, from what I understand, they'll have the option to accept in whatever denomination they want, whether it's AFD or Federal Reserve notes or what have you, because the Federal Reserve note has to stay active in order to spend down the credit. It's a massive spend down of a tremendous amount of prepaid credit that the Americans are owed for generations. So they no longer have an excuse of a national debt, which is actually a federal debt, which is mostly odious debt. So that's how that all boils down. And you can I don't really know the purpose of clicking the box without amount, whether you just make it like you can go around and use your QR code for anything, and when the price comes up, you scan it and it'll take what it needs and nothing more.
Right, maybe.
I wouldn't do that. I would type in the amount, the register, and just make the people behind me wait a minute. But I'm not thrilled about having to do this stuff. I don't like using phones for this kind of stuff.
I know. We're supposed to eventually get a card.
Eventually, we are supposed to get a card. That'll make it a lot easier. I mean, I have my PayPal card or my Cash App card. It's simple technology. What I do know is that the whole global infrastructure is already Basel IV compliant, and the other banks are still trying to get up to Basel.
3. I know.
It looks like we're in it for the win. I'm confident. I know they're making a lot of noise. They're making a lot of mess, and they're trying to shift stuff around. I've been digging into the kind of stuff that they're trying to get away with, and it's not going to fly. It's really not going to fly. There's a lot of things being exposed right now with all this kinetic stuff that's happening around the planet. So there's a building base of no confidence vote in and promises not kept.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess that's all for me. I yield.
I do have a kind of a question. When we were looking at profile and the documents, I opened up mine. So I have the 1779 and the credential, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff is in, and it says accepted. But now I have a section that says missing documents that I don't remember I was ever put that there, and I don't remember it was asking for. It's looking for like a utility bill or something, proof of address, and a passport quality photo. And I'm thinking, wouldn't there already have been? They have my photo somehow, or is that?
In what column are you in? Documents or profile details?
Right documents.
Now. Documents.
She's in documents.
Okay, so. Okay, can you repeat what you just said then, please?
So, when I open the documents, there's the first four things. I remember, uploading those a long time ago. That was in, whatever it was. And so and they say next to status accepted. And then there's a section below those four things that says missing documents. And now what it's showing is utility. That's one of them, which is like probably a utility bill for proof of address, because It says in the description.
Yes.
Right. And I don't remember this being here, or I'd have done that. So I don't know if they added this at some point where I never clicked on here to check.
It could be your particular account. I set this up when I was still up in New Hampshire. One of the insiders at Global helped me through a friend up there. But it was present there for me. The only things I see in missing documents column right now is fee schedule, other documents, and miscellaneous. The fee schedule is required for assembly participation, but only it's optional for that. So I haven't uploaded a fee schedule.
Right.
The other.
It's also showing that I needed the red thumbprint and then my 2 witness testimonies, and I'm thinking I think I already had done that.
You may or you may not have. You may be remembering.
I did too, and it's saying I need them.
Yeah, so I guess we just have to upload them. I guess we grab them from the LRO. I don't remember how I did this. You click upload, and then it goes from where, and then, or I must have it saved somewhere in my computer under files. I'm sure I could find the witness testimony things.
What I tried to do right away is make sure I had a master folder on my desktop, and I save all those things. Once I scan everything, like the thumbprint and the photograph, all those things go in that master file folder. You can have subfolders, but you want to be able to quickly access those things just in case something goes wrong with your account. You want to be able to turn it around and get it squared away pretty quick. So I would spend some time finding the folders that you had those things when you were originally did the LRO stuff. If not, I would get on it and rescan.
I mean, they're in the LRO, but I also have copies of them because I remember when Isabel had done it, she also sent me, so I know I have copies of this.
Right.
I think that are easy to upload, but I don't remember. Definitely, I didn't remember ever before seeing a red thumbprint and a photo, because I think this was added at some point later is all I'm thinking, because if I had seen this, I'd have done it.
Right. Well, the reason they're going to need those is for the cards, I believe. That was
maybe.
I remember that in discussion a couple of years ago. Because this stuff is they've had to reassess what that bank was going to actually be, and realized they were going to have to actually do point of service for every individual. A lot more infrastructure had to get built. So. They will need those for verification, and kudos to them because.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it, but I'm glad that you said that, Tom. It prompted me to look, because as far as I was concerned, I knew I had all my documents uploaded.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, I have a lot of things that I need to get uploaded now. Apparently.
It goes pretty quick. So as long as you just get on top of it and.
Yeah. I have an extra photo. Do I just take a picture of that and then upload it to my computer? How am I going to do that? The photo, I have a hard copy. When I did my new passport, I have another photo.
You don't have a scan of the original one in digital form?
No, I had it taken at the passport office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's probably one on my LRO because I had to do that.
Yeah, if you open
for my credential card. I could probably pull it from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Copy that and then paste it where you need it.
All right. I got some work to do here. So anything that says optional, we don't really have to. It says declaration of political status is actually optional. And your common carry declaration. So, I won't worry about those. I could do them if I find them, but I don't need to get that. Just get the necessary things up, right?
Right. And I think the reason why they want your fee schedule uploaded as a requirement. Excuse me. Let me look at this real quick. Says fee schedule is required for the state assembly participation.
Right, but it's only optional for the bank, so.
Right. That's right. And the other documents are really anything you choose. Could be a baby deed, could be last will and testament, could be things like that, and miscellaneous, what have you. But yeah, they definitely need your verification of address.
Yeah, interesting. I'm going to have to, I'll pull a utility bill, I guess. Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is at one point you were unable to do anything with changing who your beneficiary would be, and they have made it so that you can alter that information in your it's in user information all the way down the bottom of the page. Your beneficiary, you can change that. You just have to go to the bottom of the page on the right. There's a modify button, and then you make your edits, and then you'll have to, I'm sure another button pops up, says OK, save, or something like that.
Oh, okay. In the profile, on your profile, right?
So it's when you click on profile in the major column on the left, your profile window will open up, and on the first column is user information.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So down the bottom of user information is a spot for beneficiary. Should be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I yield.
If I may. Oh, I'm
Please
sorry.
go ahead.
Rebecca, were you first?
No, she's had her hand up for a long time.
I don't take my hand. No, sorry.
Okay. I was on the other screen following along. Gary, question. I thought I knew the answer to this, and I think I know, but beneficiary has to be a corrected status individual. Is that correct?
Not as far as I know. Here's how that worked out. I think what Anna said was they'll receive what you've left them, but in order for payments to continue, they have to paper up. Because essentially they need to correct their status in order to receive the
ongoing. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't put anybody in there because I don't know, I just didn't at the time, but so this is like
after what happened to me in Pennsylvania, I actually have to change that name, sadly, and it was
no.
That's one of the lessons I learned is, sometimes if the family and friends we create for ourselves
What happened to you in Pennsylvania?
My brother Brian and I have always had a very tumultuous relationship, and we had a falling out, and it was not good. It was not fair, and it put me in a very, very difficult situation. Fortunately, the folks in the assembly out there scrambled and got me relocated to another place fairly quickly. It was for about 5-6 months before I ended up, getting back here. But you never really know what's going on, and frankly, biblically speaking, This is the time when those separations are happening. It is what it is. It hurt, but I understand.
Sorry to hear that, Gary.
Thank you. It is what it is.
Thank you, Gary. Unfortunately, I am under a little bit of a time crunch here, so I will ask, unless there's any other questions, for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Any seconds?
Second.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thanks again, Gary, for all your help.
Yeah, thank you so much.
See you all soon.
Good night.
God bless.
Good night.
Okay, good night.